Watoto Bwana asifiwe. Mko poa? Just wave at me. Yes. I'll request all Sunday school teachers to stand up. Let's just stand up. All Sunday school teachers. Any Sunday school teachers in the house? Let's clap for them. Thank you so much, teachers. You know what these teachers are doing? They are raising a great future generation. They are raising future pastors. You can sit down, teachers. They are raising future pastors. They are raising future political leaders. They are raising future big people. And how better the way to raise it in church? Bwana asifiwe. Thank you so much, teachers, and thank you so much, Reverend Mtongoi, for even giving me opportunity just to be here. Let's clap for Pasi. Tumpigie makofi pia. It's so awesome to be here, as I said before, and I am saved. Where I worship, I also teach Sunday school. Peter Kachine. Where I worship, I also teach Sunday school, and it's always just a pleasure to share with you about the goodness and the goodness of God, and especially to children and us. So, Mtaka nini baba? Microphone. No, please. Go to mommy. Mambo ya watoto. So, today, on behalf of these children, I know as a church setup, you're not used to having children around. You are used to some order and no crying. And you're used to, things flowing, isn't it? It's rarely would you hear children cry that way. But today being a Children's Day, I want the rest of the church just to forgive us. Kidogo tu, sindio? Yeah, you'll have to get used to those cries. You have to get used to them running across. It's their day. And it's amazing that these children are in church. Watoto, nani anajua theme ya leo? Hapa? Hapa nani anajua theme ya leo? Watoto, if you can see me, raise your hand up. Wow, they are not raising. Aki watoto amuinui mikono, surely. If you're a kid, just raise up your hand. Who knows the theme of today? The theme of today, let me remind you, is in John 10. It is in John? It is in John 10:10. And John is an interesting person who wrote the book of John. John is one of the writers of the books of the Bible. That's where our theme is coming from. Church, I want us to look at the Bible in the book of John. John, from chapter 1, he spent some time trying to tell us or to explain to us the deity of Jesus Christ. The Bible says, John 1:1, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was God. John is trying to look in different ways to explain to us who Jesus is to our hearts. Before we look at John 10:10, it is important to realize Mungu ama Yesu ni nani kwenye maisha yetu. Jesus is an all-powerful person or deity, and Jesus is God in our lives. And John says in chapter 1, verse 14, the Word became flesh and made his dwelling amongst us. We have seen his glory, the glory of one and only Son, who came from the Father, full of grace. Na kwa hivyo, as we look at John 10:10, we have to realize one thing. Jesus came for us, and Jesus is God. And Jesus has ability to change our lives and to do great, great things to us. And Jesus is God. In chapter 2, Jesus turns water into wine in a wedding in Cana of Galilee. In chapter 3, Jesus meets a religious leader called Nicodemus at night and tells him that he must be born again. In chapter 4, Jesus meets a woman at the well and offers her living water so that she could never go back to the well again. In chapter 5, he heals a man who has been paralyzed for 38 years. In chapter 6, he feeds 5,000 men with only 5 loaves of bread and 2 small fish. In chapter 8, Jesus forgives an adulterous woman. In chapter 9, he heals a man who was born blind. In chapter 11, he calls Lazarus out of grace after 4 years. In chapter 14, he says he's the truth and life. In chapter 15, he says he is the true vine. Now, if you look in the Bible, Exodus 13 verse 15, it proves to us on several occasions that there is a great connection between God, who sent his only Son, Jesus Christ, that there is a proof that Jesus himself is God. And God says in Exodus 15:13, when God sent Moses to tell Pharaoh to let the children of Israel go, Moses was worried and asked God if the children of Israel will accept him as he who was sent to rescue them. And Moses asks God, you are saying I go to pick the children of Israel. And if they ask me, who sent me, who will I tell them? And God tells Moses, go and tell them, I am who I am. God says to Moses, go and tell the children of Israel, I am who I am. I am who I am, meaning that I am your rescuer in this time when you are captured. And even to us, brothers and sisters, when God says he is who he is, I am who I am, he is bread when we are hungry. Praise the Lord. He is our water when we are thirsty. He is our healer when we are sick. And Jesus said on several occasions, laid down in the book of John, he says, I'm the bread of life. I'm the light of the world. I'm the truth and life. I'm the door and nobody can get in unless he gets in through me. I'm the resurrection and life. I'm the true vine. Jesus can reach to wherever level you are. Jesus is who you want him to be at your current situation. Bwana asifiwe. Because that is who he is in our lives. And maybe just a small history on verse 10 of John, from chapter 10 of John. The audience Jesus is speaking in chapter 10 is the same audience Jesus is speaking in chapter 9. In chapter 9, Jesus had just healed a blind person. And this blind person had gone through very difficult things. He had gone through shame. He had gone through being told things by the Pharisees, the leaders of religion then, that were not pleasant. Oh, this sin, it is from your family. You made sins. You know, you are not a good person. That's why you are blind. And Jesus looks at them, and he comes in chapter 10, and he starts by saying, verily, truly, I tell you, Pharisees, anyone who does not enter the sheepfold by the gate, but climbs in by some other way, is a thief and a robber. I'm just trying to lay a ground of what John 10:10 looks like to us. We have seen, number one, Jesus is God. And we have seen across chapters of John from chapter 1, him doing great things, great mighty things that, only God can do. He forgives people, he does miracles, and he now, chapter 10, he's on the Pharisees, and he's telling them, very literally, I'll tell you, Pharisees, anyone who does not enter the sheepfold by the gate, but climbs in by some other way, is a thief and a robber. He's telling the Pharisees that you've told this man, the blind man, that he's blind because alikuwa na shida zao za nyumbani, yeye ni mbaya, ni shida za kijamii, you are a sinner. But Jesus corrects that notion. Even us in Kenya today and in the world, there are many, many gospels, false gospels that are going across, of people telling us all kinds of different things, of why God is not blessing us, of why we have this disease and not the other people. And Jesus is correcting that and saying that this gospel is wrong. And actually, I'm trying to imagine Pharisees are seated, and Jesus is literally calling them thieves and robbers. Because he tells them, anyone who does not go through the gate. As we begin in chapter 10, there are two portraits of Jesus. Mostly tumejua a portrait of Jesus where he is a shepherd. When we think Jesus as being a shepherd, we are brought a picture of a tall person with beards, with sandals, with the sheep behind him, and holding a small sheep on the left hand and the rod on the right hand. But here, we are introduced to another picture of Jesus as a gatekeeper, meaning the sheep are in a pen, and Jesus stands at the door. And anything that, jumps over and goes to the pen without passing through Jesus. Today, brothers and sisters, I want to tell you, anything that does not, any thought that does not count, that is not from God, whether through his education or through anything, that is not from God. That is the devil trying to steal from you. That is not from God, it is from the devil. Anything that does not recognize Jesus Christ, they could be thoughts or many, many other things. And so I wanted us to lay that clear because it is important. The Bible talks of robbers and thieves. And now let us look in John chapter 10, verse 10. I don't know if it can be projected. John chapter 10, verse 10. It says, the thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. But I have come that they may have life and may have it in full. And so we are introduced to a certain phenomena here. Jesus keeps us as shepherds. He is our shepherd. And we are the sheep. Just like we have a picture of Jesus as a shepherd, we are the sheep. And you know what a shepherd does to the sheep? He feeds them. He attends to them. He reaches out to them when there is a problem. Shepherds make sure that the sheep is well fed and it has been given water, and they lay down in a peaceful way. There is nothing more good than as a sheep knowing that you have a shepherd who is taking care of you. Watoto Bwana asifiwe. Yesu ni mchungaji wetu. Na Yesu akiwa mchungaji wetu, sisi ni kondoo wake. Na sisi kama kondoo wake, ana make sure we are well taken of. In which way? He makes us sure that as children we are safe when we go to school. He makes sure that he provides for our parents to pay school fees for us, to buy shoes for us. And so as children, we have to recognize one thing, that bila Yesu, sisi hatuwezi. Bila Yesu, sisi, we are exposed to the dangers of the enemy. Tukienda shule na to protect. He makes sure wewe si mgonjwa na ukikuwa mgonjwa na kuheal. And that's who Jesus as a shepherd is to us. Even us that are adults. When you turn to Jesus and when you accept him to be your shepherd, things go well. But as a shepherd, he has a flock. Sometimes thief comes. The thieves come to the flock. A flock is a target to thieves. A flock is a target to wrong people. A flock is a target to robbers. We have seen here that Jesus is telling the Pharisees, you people, you are robbers and thieves. Because apparently they were teaching a gospel that is not from Jesus. Apparently they were cheating people about things, they were portraying to represent Jesus, but in real sense they were not. And so they were robbers and thieves. Now there is a difference between robbers and thieves. One day, I have encountered the two. One day I was in town, and I'm just walking, and my phone, iko huku nyuma. And then I boarded a matatu and reached home. And then I started wondering, where did I leave my phone? You see how you start beating yourself all over? There was no phone. I called my cousin then who had visited. Did I leave my phone there? There was no phone. Those are how thieves behave. Thieves are sly, they are deceptive, you know. And before I realized I had lost a phone to a pickpocketer, it was after 1 day when I came to realize, I lost my phone. Number 2, there is a robber. One day I just alighted a matatu. There is a place called Raunda. Munakumbuka siku za maandamano, si ndio? And I've just alighted a matatu and I'm running because now the tear gas and stones were all over. And about 15 boys jumped on me. And I knew it is cooked. It's done. I just surrendered. Robbers come knocking with a lot of strength, you know, and you won't confuse them. But thieves are sly. Thieves are deceptive. Thieves come in a way that you can't realize. And so when the Bible says in John 10:10, a thief comes to steal and kill and destroy. In other words, Satan, who Jesus refers to a thief, is constantly trying to do something of your life and steal it. When Jesus says a thief comes to steal, here he literally means Satan. Bwana asifiwe. He literally means Satan. And he says, in other words, you can say, Satan comes to steal from you. Satan comes to steal what God has deposited in you. And before you realize it, it's gone. Brothers and sisters, each day of our lives, we are confronted with situations, events, and opportunities and things that are going in our lives. And the devil is so much cunning. When he comes to steal, he doesn't come once. You know, he comes gradually, cunning, and he looks like he's a super person. And before you realize it, you are leading down the way of destruction. And so when the Bible says the thief comes only to steal, the thief comes to steal your joy. The thief comes to steal what devil has deposited in us so that we don't function again, so that there is nothing left for God in our hearts. That as we serve God, nothing is left. You know? So you make a decision because you did not pray about it. You make a decision because you are in a hurry. And the decision now turns into drama and confusion and everything. You make a deal that God saw wrong because you did not involve God. You make decisions that you don't involve God because you've chosen to hear from devil. And devil talks to you and tells you, this is good. The direction we are going is good. And before you realize it, you are down the road and things are going bad. Let me tell you, brothers and sisters, today as we make these decisions, today as we go through our life, make sure that you involve God. Make sure you do things that are bringing you closer to God. Let me tell you how devil steals us from him. So you wake up and you want to go to church, but then you know very well preaching starts at around 10 or 11. And you're just there staggering on the bed and saying, I'll wake up at 10:45 and 15 minutes are okay for if just prepare and go. And the alarm rings and you sleep through it. And you say, no, let the pastor start, then I'll just get in the church and sit behind. Before you realize it, time is really gone. And you're just coming to church staggering and not knowing even what to do. And the next Sunday you are there also. And now what happens next Sunday? You have been busy all through the week. And the devil tells you now, unaweza lala tu leo. Just sleep today, you will go to church next Sunday. 2 Sundays, he has taken away from you. And the third Sunday, another excuse comes that you don't have a nice cloth. Hukuosha nguo. And now you can't even go to church. Little are you realizing that devil is trying to steal your joy of meeting together with brothers and sisters in church. You say today, we normally pray after breakfast, after supper. Today people are very sleepy. Twende tu tulale, and then we'll pray next time. And next time you watch news and it's very interesting, and by the time you want to pray, little are you realizing that devil is stealing this precious thing from you. Devil steals precious things from us, things that God has deposited in us. Devil steals your good relationships with people. Bwana asifiwe. Devil steals even your peace and joy and happiness. And when he's coming to steal those things, he doesn't come as the devil because you'll recognize him. He doesn't come with horns and a tail, and I don't know which description you can give the devil. He just comes in a good, swift way that you'll think it's godly. Maybe umechoka tu kidogo. Maybe I'm just tired, I'm just feeling a headache. But Jesus today is telling us that we be on the watch. Because slowly, one by one, you realize things are gone. Bwana asifiwe. And this situation keeps reflecting in our lives. You are a praise and worship leader. I'm not saying these people are here. I know here we people, we are very good, and we have not had an opportunity for the devil to lie to us. So whenever I'm talking about this, I know, they are not here, those people. You are a praise and worship leader, but you don't even come to practice. And you want here to come and sing and praise Jesus. You are a Sunday school teacher, but you don't even attend the meetings. But I've seen Sunday school here is good and vibrant. And this is a product of people attending meetings and, God speaking to their lives. And that's how devil steals from us. So, devil kills you. He steals your joy of even coming to church. Look around the church. Just look around. You will notice there is a mzee that used to sit there or there. Or there is a mama who used to sit there, who no longer comes to church. Do you know what happened to them? Yeah? Sunday school. They are that kid who used to, where I come from, I teach Sunday school also. There is that kid who used to come, but nowadays they are not there. Have you ever followed up to know where they went to? There is that friend who used to come to church. They no longer come to church. At some point, they just stopped coming to church. Devil stole their joy. He stole their intimacy with God. Bwana asifiwe. He stole everything and peace. He stole their prayer time. People no longer pray, because devil stole that from them. You wake up one day and realize you've not prayed for 1 week. You no longer have peace. You are no longer intimate with God. The devil has succeeded in stealing it away. He not only comes to steal, but also to kill and destroy. The Greek meaning of the word kill is to slaughter. In other words, the devil wants to kill, or rather put to death, significant areas of your life. You can imagine you are vibrant and you are good, but then the devil comes and kills that. He wants to kill important relationships in your life. He wants to kill your hope and your future. Yeah? He wants to slaughter your fellowship with God. And then he wants to destroy. He wants to leave dead things in your heart and in your life. That is his work. And let us look to destroy. To destroy is to render useless. To make it useless. Yes, you have it, but it's useless. I can see people with very nice wristwatches, but ask some of them what's the time. They won't tell you. Yeah? You will go to a boma and find a good car, but it's on the rocks. Wakisema watu wa magari piteni pande hii, pia yeye yuko. You see? But you see, that car has been rendered useless. That wristwatch you're watching, you're putting on, it is useless because it has been destroyed. Imagine if your spiritual life has been destroyed that way. You know, you're just coming to church because you want Pastor Mtongoi to see you. Hey, leo alikuja, yes, good. But the effectiveness of it, it's zero. You know, you are, I said these people are not here, so I'm not meaning any of them. You are a praise and worship leader, but you are singing because you can sing nicely. Not because it's creating any impact in the spiritual kingdom. You are a Sunday school teacher, but how you even teach, we hata unajua tu, enyewe. You know, and devil destroys people. Devil destroys relationships. You know, devil kills. And it's not just personal. How many departments do we have in church here? We have men's department, women's, children, with pastoral, praise and worship. Do you know devil can even destroy a whole department? Bwana asifiwe. Devil can destroy a whole department. And the department that is supposed to be vibrant, a department that is supposed to, you know, to be, let me take an example, because that's where I've been. And anyway, all churches, people believe youth department should be vibrant, isn't it? Yes. And the devil attacks such a department. You come to church and find wazee ndio wanapanga viti. You know, wazee ndio wana direct where to sit. Wazee ndio wana connect mitambo. If you come to such a church, then you won't throw any blame. You will just conclude, probably the devil alitembea hapa kidogo. Yeah. Pastor, before I forget, I want to really comment wazee. You know, many churches don't have men as Sunday school teachers. You know, you go to a church and you just find few young ladies teaching Sunday school. But pastor, here, men are teaching Sunday school. Let's clap for those men. Yeah. Rarely will you go to churches and find men teaching. Even where I come from, there are almost zero men. And here men are teaching children and are showing them the way. So brothers and sisters, you just meet for the sake of it. You know, devil has destroyed it. You know, you are in that department, but unaleta vikwazo sawa. People know you as, you know, ukiingia hivi things relax. And that's how devil paralyzes departments. There are many things in our spiritual life the devil has helped render useless. Hopes and dreams have been rendered useless, you know. But the great thing about Jesus, he says, devil came so that he can steal, kill, and destroy. But one amazing thing is that also Jesus came. He says, I came that they may have life. The most amazing thing is me waking up and knowing there's something I'm looking up for. You wake up and see the day and see yourself breathing, and you know you have life, and life that does not come from human, but life that comes from God. And so Jesus comes and he says, I came so that you may have life. Now, brothers and sisters, let's look at life. Life has two aspects in this manner. The life that is being spoken here is the same life that is being spoken in John 3:16, where he says, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, and whoever believes in him shall not perish but have an everlasting life. Is the same life that is spoken in John 14:6. Jesus answered, I'm the way, the truth, and life, and no one comes to the Father except through me. There are two aspects of life. Aspect number one, the word life means active, vigorous, fullness of power, and presence of God. When you wake up, you are living. That is life. Life is when God opens doors that nobody can close. Life is when God does a miracle for you that you never thought could work. You know, life comes from God. Devil could have stolen many things from us. Many things could have destroyed and killed us. But I want to tell you, irregardless of how bad things are, irregardless how deep we are in sin, there is a possibility of life. There is a possibility of life in our situations. There is a possibility of life in a dead department. There is a possibility of life. So long as we are breathing, there is a possibility of life. In our every situation that we are tired of, there is a possibility of life. If you see God who has opened a door that you've been trying to open in many ways and failed, that is life. I love life. Bwana asifiwe. How many love life like me? I love life. I need this life. Life where I can look up to God and God is in my life. And God is breathing to me and telling me, my son, there is still life. Aspect number two. Aspect number two of life is the ability to overcome trials and tribulations. How many have never been tried here? So all of us, at least we've gone through trials and tribulations. Life means God giving you fortitude and strength. Life means God making you more than a conqueror. God giving you ability to navigate and go through and conquer everything through life that were meant to destroy. God gives power through life. God gives strength and might to overcome many things. In other words, as we live, there are many things that we go through. There are situations that we go through in life that leave us so desperate, leave us sad, leave our hearts broken. But you know, there are hard situations in today's world. You know, there is nothing that God has put to you that he has not permitted. And if he put to you, then he has put enough life in your heart to overcome it. Bwana asifiwe. Do you know you are going through some tribulations and temptations? You are going through some hard situations that you will not have gone through 2 years ago. That your friend sometimes cannot go through. And God has given you that situation. And he has not left you for the situation to kill or destroy you. What he has done, he has put life in you to go through it. Bwana asifiwe. He has put life in you to go through that disease. He has put life in you to overcome that temptation. And let me tell you, brothers and sisters, it will not destroy you. Because there is God's life in your heart. There is God's life in you that is speaking good things. Life that is speaking healing. Bwana asifiwe. And so God puts us life in us to rescue us from shame. You know, devil really can shame you and can put you in situations that you feel are not so pleasant. But as long as God is there, he has put life in our hearts so that at the end of the world, we are conquerors through him who strengthens us. And he says that I've come so that you may have life. And he doesn't stop there. He says, and have it in full. Have it in full is double portion. You know, having that healing is in double portion. Whatever the devil stole from you, he is returning it in double portion. That heart that is being destroyed by the devil, God is restoring it in double portion. life in full, life in abundance. So are you sick and weary? Don't give up. God has abundant life for you. Are you wondering and about to give up? God has abundant life in you. Whichever the battle the devil brings to you, may God bring abundant life in you. Brothers and sisters, every day there are two voices speaking to us. And there are two choices that we have to make as brothers and sisters. Choice number one is of the voice that tells you, I've come to destroy, kill, and I've come to steal, kill, and destroy you. And choice number two is a voice that is telling you today, I have come so that you may have abundant life. And it's my prayer today that we are choosing a voice that is telling us that I have come so that we may have abundant life. You are choosing a voice that is coming and telling you, yes, you are a man of God. You have come to church. Yes, but we are not immune to tribulations of the world. But assurance that I'm giving you today, that there is life and life in abundance. This world is not easy. You will encounter different kinds of problems from people, from situations, things that you've planned that will not go your way. And it won't mean that you're not a good Christian. It won't mean that, you pray every day and things have to go just straightforward. But God is telling us today, as I call praise and worship, kindly just come. God is telling us today that I have come so that we might have abundant life. To the children of this church, Mungu amekuja kutupatia uhai. God has given us life. Life even to pass examinations in school. Bwana asifiwe. Life even just to be conquerors through him who strengthens us. So, this day, as we look at this theme, John 10:10, be encouraged, brothers and sisters. I want to ask every one of us, could there be a situation in our lives that as you think, probably devil has stolen it away? That urge, and peace you had, it's gone. And you're just coming to church because you want to be a statistic. He came to church on Sunday. Could there be anything in your life that devil has destroyed? Today I'm just calling you in front, so that as the praise and worship are singing, I'd really love to invite Reverend Mtongoi just to pray to us, that God is going to restore us once more, that God is going to speak to us once more, that God is going to revive us once more, and is going to fill our hearts with life and life abundantly. Bwana asifiwe. So just come as praise and worship sings. May God fill our hearts with abundant love. May God speak to us, Bwana asifiwe. May he speak to our situations that are dead, because that is his intention. His intention is not for you to die or for the devil to destroy you, but rather his intention is that you might have abundant life in every situation that you go through. You can stand, you can just stand. So don't be scared, just come. May God just speak to you, and he speak to your life again. Okay. He has the power to change you. God has the power to revive what is dead in your heart today.